Hello and welcome to QuickTale English. Today, we share a relatable story about life in the big city, life on hold, the infinite loop. Ethan was 29 years old and he lived in a city that never stopped moving. However, Ethan felt like he was standing still. Every morning, his alarm clock rang at exactly 7 a.m. He drank the same bitter coffee, took the same gray subway train, and sat at the same desk in a large IT company. His life was a loop. He wasn't unhappy, but he wasn't happy either. He felt like he was waiting for something, a big change, a new adventure, or a sign. But the days just turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into years. He called it living on pause. In the same apartment building, 2 floors above Ethan, lived Maya. Maya was 27 and worked in a busy downtown bookstore. When she moved to the city 5 years ago, she wanted to be an artist. She had brushes, expensive paints, and a big imagination. But the city was expensive and tiring. Slowly, her paints dried up. She spent her evenings scrolling through her phone, watching other people live exciting lives on social media. I will start painting again next month, she told herself every month. Like Ethan, Maya felt like her real life was on hold. She was waiting for the perfect moment to begin, but the perfect moment never arrived. The gray routine. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, Ethan and Maya actually stood next to each other at the bus stop. They never spoke. Ethan usually looked at his watch, worrying about a meeting. Maya usually had headphones on, listening to podcasts about productivity. They were like two ghosts in a sea of millions. The city was full of lights, noise, and people, but it felt strangely empty to them. Is this it? Ethan thought one rainy Wednesday evening. Work, eat, sleep, repeat? When does the real part start? He remembered his younger self. At 21, he wanted to travel across South America. He wanted to learn how to play the saxophone. Now, his biggest excitement was buying a new brand of cereal. He felt like he was in a waiting room, but his name was never called. The night the lights went out. The change didn't come from a big promotion or a lottery win. It came from a small, random accident. It was a Friday evening, around 8:30 p.m. Ethan was heating up a frozen dinner. Maya was sitting on her balcony, looking at the city lights but feeling disconnected. Suddenly, there was a loud pop. Every light in the building and the entire block went out. The silence was immediate and heavy. Without the hum of the refrigerator or the glow of the TV, the apartment felt different. Ethan looked for his phone, but the battery was at 2%. He couldn't go online, he couldn't work. Feeling restless, he grabbed a jacket and a flashlight and walked out into the hallway. At the same time, Maya opened her door. Is your power out too? She asked. Her voice sounded loud in the dark corridor. Yeah, the whole street is dark, Ethan replied. It's so quiet, Maya whispered. It's almost scary. Or peaceful, Ethan suggested. Would you like to go to the rooftop? The air is fresh tonight. Maya hesitated for a second, then nodded. Why not? I have nothing else to do. The view from the top. They sat on the edge of the rooftop, looking at a version of the city they had never seen. Without the streetlights, they could see the stars. They were small and faint, but they were there. For the first hour, they talked about small things, their jobs, the annoying landlord, and the best pizza place nearby. But as the night grew colder, the conversation became deeper. I feel like I'm watching a movie of my life instead of living it. I'm always preparing for the future, but the future never gets here. Maya looked at the stars. I know exactly what you mean. I have a box of paints under my bed. I haven't opened it in 2 years. I keep waiting for the day I feel inspired enough. But maybe inspiration is just an excuse to stay on pause. They realized they were both waiting for a permission that no one was going to give them. They were waiting for the city to stop being busy so they could start being themselves. We're 29 and 27. We're not old, but we're not getting younger. Why are we waiting? The end of the pause. The power came back on at midnight. The streetlights flickered, the refrigerators started humming again, and the Wi Fi routers began to blink. The loop was ready to start again. But for Ethan and Maya, something had shifted. I'm going to South America, Ethan said as they walked back down the stairs. Not today, but I'm going to book the ticket tomorrow, even if it's just for 2 weeks. Maya smiled. And I'm going to open that box of paints tonight, even if I only paint a gray circle. It's a start. They stood at Ethan's door. I'm glad the power went out, Maya said. Me too, Ethan replied. Do you want to grab a real coffee tomorrow? Not the office kind, a real one. I'd love to, she said. The next morning, Ethan's alarm rang at 7 a.m. He drank his coffee, but he didn't look at his watch. He looked out the window. Maya didn't scroll through her phone. She spent 30 minutes cleaning her brushes. Their lives were still in the big city and their jobs were still the same, but they weren't on hold anymore. They realized that the real part of life wasn't a destination in the future, it was the decision to move, even just a little bit, every single day. Thank you for joining QuickTale English. Subscribe for more stories about life, connections, and finding your way in the world. And continue practicing your English. See you next time.